All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in the smart home world. You've got all these cool gadgets, but half the time, they don't seem to listen. Today, we're diving deep into the Z-Wave universe and figuring out how a little thing called a range extender can make your network solid, especially if you've got a bigger, more complicated house. You know the feeling, right? You pull out your phone, tap the button to turn on a light at the other end of the house, and crickets. Nothing happens. It's super frustrating, and it's a classic sign that your smart home's communication network is hitting a wall, literally. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about the struggle, why this happens in the first place. Then we'll look at the easy fix, the single booster. But there's a catch, a one-way signal problem we need to expose. After that, we'll get into the real solution, building a much stronger network. And we'll finish up with a blueprint you can use for your own setup. Okay, so let's get into the why. You've spent all this time and money setting up these Z-Wave devices, and you just want them to work. The good news is most of the time the problem isn't the device itself. The culprit is almost always just a simple range issue. So picture this. Your Z-Wave hub, which is probably tucked away in your office or maybe even the basement, sends out a command. But that little radio signal has to fight its way through every wall, floor, and piece of furniture between the hub and your device. If that device is too far away, the signal just fizzles out. And the results? Your light never gets the message. And this quote? This is the sound of a frustrated family. It's that moment when everyone else in the house starts complaining that this fancy new smart home you built is unreliable. And that's when the whole dream starts to feel less like magic and more like a total pain. But don't worry, there's a hero for this exact situation. Let's talk about the Z-Wave range extender. It's a super simple device, but it is an absolute game changer. So what is it? Think of it like a relay runner for your smart home's signal. You just plug it into an outlet somewhere in your house, you pair it with your hub, and its entire job is to catch a weak signal, give it a shot of adrenaline, and pass it along. It's literally extending the reach of your network. So now the journey of that signal looks totally different. The hub sends the command, but instead of trying to make it all the way on its own, it just has to get to the extender. The extender, which you've cleverly placed in the middle, grabs that signal, boosts it, and fires it off to the light. The light gets the message loud and clear, and bam, it turns on. Problem solved, right? Well, for a simple setup, yeah, but for bigger homes, there's a hidden problem we need to talk about. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because even with one of these powerful extenders, you might actually be creating a one-way street for communication. It all boils down to a power mismatch. That range extender, it can basically shout. It's designed to blast a powerful signal across your home. But that little smart bulb or sensor, it can only whisper. Its built-in radio is just not as strong. So here's what happens. The extender shouts the command, and the light hears it and turns on. Great. But then the light tries to whisper back, hey, I got it, I'm on, and its signal is just too weak to make the long trip back. Your hub is left completely in the dark. It never gets the confirmation, which is why your app might still show the light as off, even when it's shining brightly. Okay, so this brings us to the real pro-level solution, especially for those of us with more complex homes. To solve this one-way communication problem for good, you need to think bigger. You need to build a stronger network using not one, but multiple extenders. I want you to think of it like creating a daisy chain of signal boosters. The hub sends the command to the first extender. That extender then passes it to a second one you've placed much closer to your final device. That second extender delivers the message. Now, and this is the magic part, the device only has to send its little confirmation whisper to that nearby extender. That extender can easily hear it, and it then shouts the confirmation back up the chain, from one extender to the next, all the way to the hub. Now you have a rock-solid two-way conversation going. So let's boil all this down into a practical blueprint, something you can actually use to go fix your own Z-Wave network right now. Here's your 4-step playbook. First, figure out where the dead zone is. Where does the signal seem to die? Second, try popping one extender right in the middle of that gap. For a lot of people, that's enough. But third, if the device works but your app's status is all messed up, you've just diagnosed the one-way signal problem. So your final step, step 4, is to add that second extender, placing it much closer to the end device to create that reliable two-way communication bridge. Look, building a great smart home isn't a one-and-done project. It's something that grows and evolves over time. Creating a really strong network foundation isn't just about fixing the one annoying light you have today. It's about getting your home ready for all the cool new devices you're gonna add tomorrow. So the real question to ask yourself is your network really ready for what's next?